the northeast corner of 7th and S Streets, northwest, would be the most conducive location, so immediately adjacent to the elevator entrance to the north entrance of the Shaw Howard Metro Station. Would be the best location, and they have asked that we submit a resolution supporting that location, which is actually an ANC 1B, but nonetheless, that was the most propitious location. Subsequently, we've had some communication with Nina Norman, who is the single member district commissioner for the 1B single member district that is responsible for that location, and she indicated support for that as well. So I would move that ANC 6E communicate support for placement of a new Capital Bike Share station on the northeast corner of the intersection of 7th and S Streets Northwest, and that we communicate that support to Capital Bike Share ND.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Moving on to support for public space permit for Dhaka Beer Garden.
Do we have the representatives from Dasha here? Great. Many of you are familiar with Dasha Beer Garden, a very popular outdoor dining establishment at the west corner of 7th and Q Streets Northwest. There were some initial rough moments when the establishment proved more popular than anyone had anticipated, where there were some capacity issues, which thankfully we were able to work with the licensees to resolve. And one of the measures in order to try to reduce the amount of noise generated by the sound of voices, for which there is no standard in the District of Columbia, but nonetheless could be very easily heard inside the homes of neighborhood residents that were in some cases 10 feet away from the establishment, was to add additional plantings as well as noise barriers with noise absorptive materials in public space. So if you were to look at the site of Dasha, the portion that is closer to Q Street, just underneath the big Elizabeth Taylor mural, is actually public space, which is leased by the establishment from the district government, and there are restrictions as to what can be placed in that public space. At the community's request, some additional materials were incorporated into that design. Subsequently and recently, DDOT public space inspectors discovered that what had been approved had been exceeded, and the licensees have been asked to submit an application to get approval for that additional occupation of the space. So the commission has drawings, preliminary drawings that will be part of an application that will be going to DDOT to seek approval of this additional occupation of public space there, which is absolutely necessary in order to be able to continue to safeguard the ability of adjacent residential homeowners to have the quiet enjoyment of their property. So, Mr. Alter, do you have anything that you'd like to add, or have I made your case sufficiently for
You
you?
pretty much made our case, and application for status quo.
Okay, so they're not asking to add anything more than is already there. It's just trying to get DDOT to approve what has been installed and has been in place for the past several years.
Yep.
That is making it possible for this business to be successful and to coexist with residential neighbors. Any questions from the commission? Any questions from the public? Yes.
quick statement as a neighbor whose headboard of my bed is about 40 feet away from your back gate. Love having you as a neighbor, but I will just say that the sound barriers as they currently exist does a lot to mitigate the sound problem. We still hear a lot of sound even with them there, so not having reviewed the specifics of what the VDOT says the violation is or whatever is, I've spoken to a number of my neighbors, and we definitely support the application to leave it as is, because there were hard-won gains, and it really allows the establishment of the neighborhood to coexist peacefully.
Thank you.
And we'll also ask the applicants to present to the Central Shaw Neighborhood Association at their meeting later this month, so that they can also obtain their support, which I am confident will be granted. So this is in my singular district. I'll move that ANC 6E support the public space application for Dasha Beer Garden at 1600 7th Street Northwest, and specifically state that the Commission supports the additional materials that have been installed in public space in order to mitigate sound that is generated by patrons of the establishment for the protection of adjacent residents, and that we communicate that support to DDOT and the Public Space Committee.
Get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And we're moving towards 1737 11th Street, request for support for plans for brick parapet. It's also in Alex's.
So this applicant has come before us previously for support for this project. This is a refinement of their plans. Specifically, there's a recommendation from the Historic Preservation Board staff that parapet wall be added to the north elevation of the building along the alley, and certainly have the applicants present their drawings to the commission and answer any questions. But this is a pretty modest refinement of the plans. And they did meet with the Front Street Neighbors Association last night and obtained the support of the association. You'll identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Good evening, my name is Will Tays. I'm the principal with Tays Warren Architects. I'm here on behalf of R Street Development, which is the property owner at 1737 11th Street. This case came before the ANC in the fall, where we pursued the preliminary development plans, which involved converting a single-family dwelling into two families. All of the elements of the project were approved at that point. The review of the roof deck and the roof deck screening was delegated to staff, and also subject to a flag test. We did the flag test with the security staff member. There was no visibility in front of it. As you traveled north on 11th Street, there was some visibility because the building is a story taller than the buildings on either side. And the suggestion was made to extend the parapet up. So the application here this evening is simply just to really extend. There's already a tall parapet on one side, on the west side, and is really to carry that parapet line all the way across to minimize the visibility of the guardrail on the roof. So we come before the ANC subcommittee last week. We went to the French Street Neighborhood Association last night, and we're here seeking support of the ANC as this case moves before the Historic Preservation Board. And I'd be happy to answer any questions from the ANC or the public at large.
Mr. Brown, do you have any comment from the committee?
We reviewed it, and basically, like you said, it was something that was previously approved in the fall of last year. This is a minor adjustment of the parapet. There was one question that we had lingering from our meeting on last Thursday, and I was wondering if Alex got any concurrence from HPRB on the people issue.
So the question that was raised was whether or not the Historic Preservation Office had any concerns related to the ability of anyone standing on the roof deck to be seen by someone looking south from S Street. I did send an email to Ananya Price, the staff reviewer for the case last week, and I actually did not hear any response. But my understanding from the applicants is that there was no concern that was raised by Ms. Price during the planning.
That's correct. I mean, their primary concern is fixed physical features like guardrails, penthouse structures, that kind of thing. They see people and even umbrellas as sort of temporary things, but the standard, to my knowledge, is not going to apply to.
Okay. Besides that issue, there was nothing else that we had concern about, and we were in full support of the project.
So this is in my single member district, and I will move that ANC 6E support the proposal, plans for the brick parapet wall at 1737 11th Street Northwest, and that we communicate that support to the Historic Preservation Office and the Historic Preservation Review.
Can we get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you for your time.
Commissioner Wiggins, excuse me, sir. Just a question about the agenda. Item 6, that person won't be here, that's what Mr. Wells did?
That's what Tommy Wells stood in the place of, they could not make it. Stood in the place. Moving on to item number 27, consideration of public space permit for unenclosed sidewalk cafe for a 7-Eleven convenience store located at 504 K Street. Do we have anyone here to talk on this matter? Alex Marriott, Commissioner Marriott is not here at this present time. He has received a lot of concerns via email from constituents and his SMD who don't want this to take place. The ANC, it is our position, we're being asked just to vote on the public space. We don't have authority to tell City Vista or a landlord who not to rent to. We might have personal opinions about it, as well as the constituents in that SMD. I have some personal opinions about it as well, but this ANC is not being asked to vote on the actual vendor, the business. We're being asked to support the public space permit. I don't know if my comrades.
Oh, I do, yes, I do. So, I have to say, so as Frank just explained, our role is only to support the public space permit, and what they're requesting is tables and chairs and umbrellas, right, for a cafe. The thing, in my personal opinion, we received some horrible emails from constituents from that area that were tinged with classism. So as I took some of what was it here? That was, I couldn't believe someone that said that with this 7-Eleven, because what the emails, only one email that Alex sent was about the public space, and then the rest were basically about the business itself. We're not voting, we're not talking about the business, but it was like, the 7-Eleven will increase crime, homelessness, presence, vandalism, and assaults. Okay, this is a convenience store, so I don't agree with that. And then someone wrote, it says, if this is allowed to proceed, the Mount Vernon Triangle should be expected to go downhill very quickly. So I'm not sure, we live in a city, and so cities have convenience stores. It might not be popular. I'm a Wawa fan, I've talked about that, right? I'll talk about Wawa. But as we said, we cannot, that's not our position to say what type of business. I'm actually for them to have tables and chairs and umbrellas. With the diagram that Alex sent us, it's a little bit too close to the circular planter. There's a circular planter, right?
Yes.
Right, am I correct?
Yeah.
So, and it's not on the corner. It's where the old paint store is. So it seems as there's too many tables and chairs.
Well, I talked to a lot of people who live in the area.
Yep.
And we don't want, well, first of all, we don't want 7-Eleven, but unfortunately, like you said, it's nothing we can do. I wish, I kind of knew about it, but then nobody believed that a 7-Eleven was gonna go in there.
Yep.
We didn't do anything at that point, we should have done something. But we don't want, and we'll tell Marriott, and I'm shocked that he's not here supporting us, we don't want the outside seating at all, because that, especially if it's not enclosed, it's always going to do. Have you ever been to the one on 14 and P?
I've been to many convenience stores.
Well, go to the 14 and P, and that's what you're going to get here. We already have the Safeway with everybody, all the trash, and everyone homeless standing on the door. So now we're going to go to another corner and have the same thing.
So this is what we approved last month. This is 2 doors down. This is an outdoor space. This is on the same side of the block. So for us, I mean, this is my opinion, for
What
us
is
to
that?
say
Do you know what
no
that is?
to a public space permit that's two doors down, plus, as you know, you were
The
aware,
residents want to
there
know.
is Mandu, who else,
Well, I have a question.
the bus boys and all that, they all have outdoor spaces on that same corridor.
They're not.
Those are restaurants on
Okay,
the
so would
street.
you like one right
But,
there
but we're only
on
talking
Fifth
about
and
an
M Street?
outdoor space, we're not talking about the type of business, we're just talking
So
about.
that sidewalk cafe.
Fifth and M.
Sidewalk
Should we have an
cafe.
outdoor space on that Fifth and M?
That's an
one?
intersection, it's a very busy
It's-
intersection.
But it's not, it's not at the corner, it's in the old paint store.
Okay,
But-
is it, Kenyatta, are they gonna occupy the liquor store or the paint store?
Paint store.
Paint store.
Paint store, it's not on the corner.
But still, it's
But
right there.
7-Eleven
But-
is a
but this is
convenience
right
store.
there.
It is the people that is gonna bring, that's what it is.
This we voted on last month.
What is that?
Where
This
is
is,
that?
this is on the corner, this is the Douglas development that's two doors down on the corner of Sixth and K.
What's the tenant?
What is it though?
Do we know what this is, do you remember what this, or they don't have it
It's
yet?
gonna be a restaurant.
Yeah.
It'll be a
So
Yeah.
is the outdoor
So a
space for the
restaurant and a
restaurant or
convenience
for
store
the
is slightly
7-Eleven?
But it's the same thing, we voted on
And
out,
how is the
permit for
7-Eleven
outdoor
having
space,
an outdoor
that's what they're
cafe when
asking,
they're not a
not,
restaurant?
not for
Right,
the
but they're not a
type of
restaurant,
business.
they're a liquor, I mean, they're a convenience store that
So-
I
sells.
think you need to take
Yes.
control of
Uh, Considering this is in Commissioner Alex Marriott's single district, he is out of the country. He's out of the country, so he was not able to be here. He was in support of protesting this for now, give him a chance to talk to his constituents, this single district, and I support that protest to give him time to work out those differences so you can be heard. I really think that's where we need to go with this plan. So if the commission will allow me to do so, let's hear a little comment.
Plus 7-Eleven's not here too, I don't know if Alex was able to contact that entity or not, I don't, it's not right for them not to be here either, so I'm not sure if he was able to talk to someone there. So-
The question is if there's time to work this out, so that means that this will be considered at the next AMC meeting?
We
That's
can.
it, okay.
So, and I made a
But for
point,
them being on the agenda and not show up, I think it's a
but
big
they might not
minus.
know, that's what, I don't know what Alex did.
Then
and-
it shouldn't be on the agenda if
Okay.
they're not.
We were all told about it.
Right, because we came for that.
Right.
So I don't know what Alex, I
We all
can't.
come
Yeah,
here, we all come here, we all, because we have an opinion about
So-
it, and they're not
But here's the
here.
thing, but as what I said to Alex in an email yesterday, that even if they don't have umbrellas and tables and chairs, that doesn't stop 7-Eleven from coming to that space.
But it
No,
stops
because
another
we don't
area
want
to have for
seating.
people to
We don't
sit
want
that
people to
is a.
sit there, right.
But you want people to sit on this
I think
corner.
you need to get.
I think a slight different consideration for me is if it's a restaurant, then it's the restaurant's responsibility to maintain the cleanliness of that public
Right,
space.
correct.
For 7-Eleven, will they be held accountable?
Right.
Right, like
And
if
they're not serving
Mandu
anything,
or
what do
someone
they need
doesn't
seating
clean up.
for?
It's just
Right.
experience.
Maybe I'd like to
Look at
have a
PN
Slurpee and a hot dog.
14.
So I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
that's fine if you're gonna
Sure.
purchase something and sit there.
Yeah, why not?
But you're not gonna,
Right.
you're gonna have
Trash
people
right
there that
there.
are not gonna purchase things.
Well, we're
This
gonna have to
needs
table it.
order.
We're gonna have to table it so
Yes, the
Commissioner Marriott.
committee do have very strong opinion about it.
So actually, this is an active, public space application. There is a requested response date, from DDOT, public space. They are actually not going to hear the case until after our next meeting. But in order to be able to meet DDOT's requested response date, and I did speak to Alex at length about this before his departure, I'm going to move that ANC 6E oppose the approval of the public space permit for the outdoor seating for the 7-Eleven. And that we communicate that to DDOT and the Public Space Committee with the understanding that we will put this on the agenda again for next month so that there can be a more robust discussion with additional input from both the applicant and, from the public that would be able to inform any modifications in our recommendations before the Public Space Committee actually makes a ruling recommendation.
Say the date again, Alex, when's the date for their?
It's after our next commission.
And Alex, did 7-Eleven already sign that lease with that owner?
I can't tell you, I don't know that.
We have a motion on the floor. I want to second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Moving on to item number 28, request for approval of public space application for 5G small cell antennas equipment, AT&T, Crown Council, Verizon. That's what every single district besides the home.
They don't want you to have any 5G. So this is an interesting case. The Public Space Committee heard a preliminary application on the part of all of these telecommunications providers for the design of the installations, which basically look like teardrop fixtures, the standard teardrop fixtures from DDOT, except that they've got a couple of additional boxes attached to them. So there isn't an individual application for each one of these installations. And my understanding is that the Public Space Committee is not going to hear each individual case. It's sort of like a blanket approval and a blanket application. But they did put into their approval that there had to be a notification. So the ANC had to be notified, all of the property owners within a given distance of the locations where those antennas are proposed to be installed have to be notified. So it turns out that there isn't an active approval or disapproval that we have the opportunity to make. It's more of a communication that these things are going in. I have heard back from 2 of the telecommunications providers saying that they are willing to come to make a presentation about these antennas, so that residents that have questions about electromagnetic radiation and the services that are to be provided can hear from them. But neither of those 2 were able to schedule appearances tonight. So I'm going to suggest that we table this item until our next meeting, so that we can actually have those representatives from the telecommunications firms here in case people have questions about those installations.
Did you talk, so I talked with Mario, you talked to Mario?
I spoke to Mario.
So Mario's from Verizon, and they want to place at 6004. The only thing that he didn't seem, or he seemed completely unsure of was, like, is parking going to be taken away? Is they going to need space on the street when they install these things? That was my big question. So he said it would be the installation would start from 3 to 12 months from now. But he didn't really seem too sure about the procedure at all. It'd be good to have him back.
So he wasn't clear.
Yeah.
I've gotten further information since I spoke to Mario about what this quasi blanket approval undertook. But again, my recommendation is that we actually have the providers come back, so that if people have specific questions about these installations, they can ask them.
Get a second?
That's fine.
So Alex, this is Mario back here.
Oh, Mario!
I just came in and doing
You can ask me.
So I take that back because you didn't let me know that you actually were able to come.
So I know the agenda wasn't, just got it real quick, but available to come next month with the other providers and engaging in more, and bring some of the network team from Verizon. Mario Costaveras, I work for Verizon. Maybe some of you received a letter as residents, and I know that ANC commissioners did, which is, as Commissioner Padro indicated, a requirement by DDOT for all the providers that would be applying to install small cells technology across the district to notify residents, the ANC, and the council members about the process. So I would certainly like to come back next month when the other providers are here, and we can actually engage in more in-depth discussion. I'll be able to bring someone from the network team who are the experts on how this technology works, and you'll be able to ask those questions. But I wanted people to know who I am, because I send those letters out. And if you receive those letters telling you that you will see installations of small cells, I came from my office. And I've known Alex for many, many years, and so I'm always willing to participate in these meetings. And if I'm not available, someone from my office, and we'll be certainly having these conversations with ANC leaders across the city in the areas where we will be installing small cells. And for those of you who are maybe not familiar with what small cells are and what it means, you probably heard a lot about 5G and the next generation of technology. So the small cells is the infrastructure needed to deliver the next generation technologies such as 5G. And without that particular infrastructure, it's impossible to really deliver these advanced technologies that would enhance many aspects of how our city operates and also help this city become a smart city in many different ways when it comes to transportation, public safety, healthcare, and many others. But we can get into more discussions about that next month. I would be happy to be here again. But if anyone has any questions, certainly Alex knows how to reach me, she knows how to reach me, and from now and then we can always provide any information that you have.
Mario, I have one question. I noticed 6003 was not on the list. Is that because, geographically speaking, 6003 may be smaller than some of the other single districts? Is that the reason why? I noticed we went on that list. There's 6001, 2, skips 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I do have 603.
So it's just a typo.
Yeah, that's not a big deal, because I remember seeing that one. That letter was sent to Commissioner Wiggins.
I didn't see it on the list, that's why.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah,
we'll
so that's
fault
one of the areas.
Commissioner.
So you have, you Commissioner.
We'll fault Marriott for, it's just a typo then.
All right, so if you have any, certainly any questions, let me know
Okay.
about that particular area. But that's all I wanted to say, Alex. I wanted you to know I was here, but I'll be happy to come back.
Sorry, but I
next
didn't
month.
spot you back then.
Thank you.
Didn't recognize the beard.
That's right.
All right, we're almost done, one more.
Quick
No,
question.
two more.
Quick question, sorry, yes. Do we have any idea of the, I know with the frequency at which most of these small cells operate requires them to be in relatively close proximity to one another, so do we have an idea of how many per block we're talking yet?
Well, or, I guess that's one question, it's sort of like, what's the it's not like a cell tower where you know, when you're up near, you don't see them, it's gonna be at street level, and there's like 5 on the same block.
I think they'll be
It
up
might be an
on
aesthetic
light.
problem.
Yeah, I think I've only seen one of them.
If you go to, in the letter that I sent, there is a link to the DDOT website specific for small cells, where you can read about the guidelines that were approved by the Public Space Committee of DDOT, that specifically says how these installations will take place in each neighborhood, how many can be in a particular block, etc. So if you go there, you will find those specifics, and also the information about the how this technology will be installed on these different poles and how they will blend into the design of those poles. It's not that they're going to be completely foreign to the current design. The proposed designs by the industry is to blend into what already exists, so it doesn't become a situation where it's different from what you already have.
Yeah, so I've read the design parameters, but since this is noticed to the ANC, I'm just curious about how many will be installed within our neighborhood. Is that known, or is that on the fly?
Yeah, no, they provided a list, so.
Is there a way to get a map of all the, like every provider? Because I know Verizon had a map that I saw on Facebook. Thank you, Commissioner Nigro, for posting
Of
that.
course.
But,
I do post that.
I mean, it's not just Verizon, it's AT&T, it's Crown Castle, it's the others. So I'm just curious, when they provide this notice to the ANC, will you have a comprehensive picture of all the different carriers and where they're planning to?
I only got notice from Mario, right? I did not receive anything from AT, so I'll have to ask if it's gonna be, are you in my area?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll have to ask if it's gonna be in for all the rest. And then I'll post.
Where can we find the list of the ones that will be installed within 60? The locations, I should say.
So Mary, do you think that the DDOT website has the comprehensive list of all the
I didn't
locations?
see it today when I looked.
But the applications have not been yet submitted by all the providers. So once that is done, more information will be there. But I can work with you, Alex. If people have a specific question about a specific block and address, I can work with you to get it for the Verizon ones, not for the other providers, because I don't know. That's certainly their information, so they will not share it.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll reach out, since I've already been in contact with the other two providers, to try to get their comprehensive information, we can put it all together.
Is a hoteling solution still on the table? Because I would imagine that would also impact the number of poles necessary. Hoteling? Basically putting multiple carriers in one casing?
Right, that's it's depending on the design of the specific installation of the pole, and that's from Castle.
that would likely impact the number of poles required as well, right? If you're able to hotel and put multiple areas.
So the guidelines, the guidelines that were approved, and there's gonna be another round for the second, revised guidance that would speak to that.
Is Verizon in favor of hotel, or would you rather be standalone?
We look at different options, depending on the particular installation and the area we have to work. So we work with the provider.
So we can just, a situation where you have a bunch of different providers having overlapping small cells on the same lot, we're gonna run out of poles.
Yeah, that's not one.
Well, in the design standards, there's like, I think at least 60 feet, or then also not only are the poles that are currently here going to have some technology on it, but also there could be new poles because they can only be installed, the equipment can only be installed on certain types of light poles. Yeah.
So what I recommend is, at the next month, be able to bring someone from our network team that can really go into more specific design details, such that they will be able to answer that. So,
You actually have a motion on the
Yeah,
floor.
we do have a motion on the floor to table this until next week, till all the stakeholders can be here to represent themselves. Provided I can get a second. So moved.
thank you.
Got a couple more things to get done.
Take a vote.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor, so moved. All right, next, is Alex.
Yep. So, some of you may have seen that 7 members of the city council today released a letter to Mayor Bowser urging her to keep the Banneker Academic High School renovation at Euclid Street and not to relocate the school to 925 Rhode Island Avenue Northwest. So the commission is on record as supporting the renovation of Banneker at its current historic site and the retention of the old Shaw Junior High School location on Rhode Island Avenue for the future and long promised Shaw Middle School.